Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. This is part 3 in my series as I document my return to DC training. Let's get to it. Today is my B, biceps and leg workout, so it's my second of 3 workouts that I'll do over the next 12 weeks for biceps, forearms, and legs. My bicep exercise for today is the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer Standing Bicep Curl. I'll do a couple of warm-up sets and then I'll do my rest pause set. First warm-up set's really light, 12 repetitions. My second warm-up set is again really light, 30 pounds, 8 times. I'm going to try to shorten the length of these videos because the first one was 27 minutes, the second one was 22 minutes, and as I cover the basic DC principles, there's no need to make these videos as long as they are. And for exercises like the calf raise, which take sometimes 2 minutes, I will edit that down just because it's such a long set. Now it's time for my rest pause set for biceps. I have 50 pounds on the functional trainer, and I hope to get at least 12 repetitions on this first rest pause set. Like every lower body training day, I start off by warming up on the Rogue Echo bike, and then moving over to the Titan Fitness HP&D for reverse hypers, and then finishing on the Powertec Hyperextension Crunch Bench just to further warm up my lower back and hamstrings. There's 12, but I've got more, so I keep going. "14, 15 deep breaths, and then rest pause set number 2. I've had some questions about doing DC training with limited equipment, and if you're going to do DC training by the book, you really have to have a well-stocked gym. There are even some commercial gyms that aren't really well-stocked enough to do DC training appropriately, and as I mentioned before, one of my plans in building this garage gym was to be able to do DC training the right way. I couldn't believe how sore my biceps were today from Monday's workout. Today is a Friday, but that incline curl that I did for the really high rest pause set created a lot of DOMs for me. Now it's time for my straight set forearm set. I just have 2 10s on the weight horns just so that I can make sure the bench is in the correct position. But this is going to be a preacher, hammer, rope curl. My reps are going to be high, at least 12. Now it's time for my work set. I have 2 25s on the weight horns. While this set is going on, I want to talk about the supplements I take. First off, all of these supplements are 100% legal. They can be purchased at bodybuilding.com or any vitamin shop or any GNC. And back in the day, my supplement stash was about 3 times this size. Now that I know what I'm doing, my supplement stash is a lot smaller. First off, for protein powders, I'm using Synthesix and Optimum Nutrition at the moment, and I don't even really include protein as a supplement. It's more of a meal for me. And then with caffeine, I can manipulate my caffeine levels when I have straight caffeine. So for example, in the rare instance that I'm working out at night, I can reduce the caffeine levels. Creatine monohydrate, 3 to 5 grams post-workout. Beta-alanine, 4 grams pre-workout. And citrulline, 6 to 8 grams pre-workout. So 16, I'm happy with that number. I'll go up 2, 2.5 next time I do this exercise. Now it's time for my bicep extreme stretch. I'll hold this for 60 to 90 seconds. Now it's time for my calf exercise. I will be using the Powertec leg press for my quad exercise, so it just makes sense to use it for calves. And in my last video, when I was doing biceps and legs, my calf set on the seated calf raise, I think lasted 2 or 3 minutes, and I had all kinds of video inlays going over that set, and it was just so long. And I'm not going to show this calf set in its entirety because it can take upwards of 2 minutes, and it's just not very fun to watch. Even if I was moving 1,000 pounds, calf raises are not very fun to watch. But you know what I'm doing. When it's time for my work set, I'm going explosively up, letting it squeeze, lowering 5 to 10 seconds, and then when I hit the bottom, my stretch is going to be 10 seconds. And I'll try to get at least 12. So this is just my warm-up set with 245s on here. I think one warm-up set is all that's needed for this exercise. So for my work set, I have 4 45s and 2 25s. And here we go for a very long and painful set. So I undershot on the weight that I have on here, but I'm just going to keep on going. Make a note of it in the logbook, so the next time I do this exercise, I might jump up to 6 45s. As I mentioned in part 1, training calves the DC way can be one of the most painful body parts that you work out. And I'm going to stop at 19. Now it's time for my hamstring exercise. I'm going to be doing the prone leg curl on the Powertec flat incline decline bench with the leg extension leg curl attachment. If you remember back to my A workout for biceps and legs, I was doing the Titan Fitness seated leg curl. So a lot of variety. Starting off light, just 25 pounds, 12 times. For set 2, I have 2 25s, and just in case you're wondering, I have my mic cord outside of my shirt rather than down in my pocket, because from time to time, and it has happened to me before, my mic gets disconnected mid-workout, and I gotta go back and do a re-record, and with DC, that wouldn't be fun. So I'll shoot for 8 reps here, and I'm doing my best not to launch my hips like this, but when it gets heavy, it's really hard not to do that, just to keep grinding. Also, I get a lot of questions what that clicking is. That clicking is just the 25s sliding on that weight horn a little bit. I added a 10 and a 2.5 for my work set. Now this will be rest paused. I hope to get 12 on my first set in this rest pause set. I hope this calendar is helpful to anyone who's a little bit confused about the way the DC program is laid out. B and L stands for bicep and legs, and UB stands for upper body. So I have 3 bicep and leg workouts and 3 upper body workouts that I'll continue to rotate for hopefully 12 weeks. If I'm starting to really drag, then I'll drop it to 10 or 8 weeks, and then I'll start my cruise. I got my 12, 15 deep breaths, and then I'll get ready for rest pause set number 2. Now it's time for my final rest pause set in this set. On my first one I got 12, on my second one I got 6. I might get 3 or 4 on this one. Now it's time for my extreme stretch for hamstrings. I'll hold each leg 60 to 90 seconds. I'm done with my intra-workout protein drink, and as I've mentioned, kind of at the halfway mark, I'll switch over to HydroCharge, which is an electrolyte, water flavoring supplement. I add a little bit of caffeine to it just to help power me through the rest of the workout. Now it's time for my final exercise of the day, which is my quad exercise. And as I mentioned in part 1 in this series, everything that I've done up until now has been extremely important. But in the hierarchy of things, this last exercise is the most important exercise of the day. Because I use this machine for calves and it's already loaded, I'm going to go ahead and use this for my quad exercise. I'll make my final calf set my first warm-up set for quads. I have my chalk lines here, so I know exactly where my feet are supposed to go. This is the position that doesn't hurt my knees. I have hacked this machine. I removed the back adjustment tube so that it would lay flat, and this is just much more lower back friendly for me. This first set will be 12 repetitions. I'm going to make 845s my first work set. It's okay if I get 12 or more here. I don't want to be as high as 20 because that's what I'll be doing for my Widowmaker when I drop my weight down. But here we go. Here is an old school tool that you'll see a lot of bodybuilders use. Dante Trudel has mentioned using menthol on his elbows and knees before training. Luckily, my joints have felt really good, so I haven't needed to use it lately. And this BioFreeze is just something I have on my shelf, and it's a roll-on, which makes applying menthol really nice. Otherwise, you might want to put on some type of a latex glove before putting menthol on your knees and elbows, just because if you accidentally touch your eye, you're going to be in a lot of pain. Also, when it is really cold out in the garage gym, I am more likely to use menthol. And the BioFreeze is a relatively low menthol count, but there are other products, Tiger Balm and others, that have a higher menthol count, which actually will probably be better for you. These topical menthol products can really help to warm up the knees and other joints as you get ready for heavy workouts. I'm happy with 15 for my first set in this start to my DC program. I rested a couple of minutes and now I'm going up in weight for my second leg press set. I have 845s on here, plus 2 35s, plus 2 25s. I'm prepared for a low rep count, but hopefully it's more than 5 or 6. Lightweight, baby. Sorry about that grunt, y'all, but I don't think without that I would have gotten it. So 6 reps. Now I'll rest for a couple of minutes, and then it's time for the Widowmaker. Okay, everybody, it's time for my Widowmaker set. I have 645s on the leg press. I'm shooting for 20 reps, but I'll probably get more, and I'm going to sign off at the end of this set for a couple of reasons. One, I've got to go get ready for work. Two, I'll probably be so out of breath that I won't be able to talk appropriately. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you are finding this series helpful. I also hope that it's helpful to see some of the equipment that I have in action with heavier weights. If you're confused about some of the principles in DC, I'll continue to try to explain them, because I know the first time and second time that I read about it, I was a little bit confused about how to structure everything. So if I haven't done a good job of explaining it, I'll continue to do better. Okay, here we go. This is tough, but this is what it's all about. Typically for my Widowmakers, I go a little bit faster, a little more explosively than for my normal sets. With DC training, if you're doing the two-way split, it is highly recommended that you do not try to tweak this program. So for example, after this is over, I'm not gonna go try to do some leg extensions. All right, so that's 15, and I feel it's too easy. So I should have gone up in weight, at least 225s, but I'm gonna keep grinding. And in my logbook, I'll make a note that I just need to go heavier the next time this exercise comes around. Similarly, after I do my chest exercise, I'm not going to throw in pec flies. By adding all of those extra exercises in, first, you're not doing DC, but you decrease the effectiveness of the program. There's 25. I'm not locking out during this rest break, but the burn is real. It's deep in the quadriceps. Oh, I'll go ahead and stop at 33. Take care, everyone.